A world crumbling under the weight of war, pollution and disease. As a desperate solution to save humanity. Two brave souls are sent towards the dark depths of space. In a conquest of happiness. Will the solution bring solace to a dying society? Or will it be humanity's final breath? Conquest of Happiness is a 32-page black and white one-shot comic book, illustrated by Lemons. Conquest of Happiness is now available on YetzeLemons.com. Physical copies are printed and shipped near you. Get it now.
Porkies, Revenge of the Nerds, Leisure Suit Larry? In the tradition of these great franchises about aspiring men and women trying to get places while dealing with the hardships of life, we present another milestone in comic book history. Crimson Skies. Meet Harry Murd3r. He's a nerd, and he's ready to go to college. That is, until he got hit in the head by a chunk of rock from outer space, and the world plunged into chaos. Ghosts, spirits, phantoms, they're real, they're here, causing chaos, causing mayhem, causing trouble, but life goes on. And so does a Murd3r, even when it's real hard. And things are gonna get a lot harder. Follow Harry Murd3r as he tackles college, kicks subliminate shortwave quantum transverse Foster Inspector's ass, and skirts the opposite sex in an action-adventure comedy reminiscent of gloriously cheesy and sexy films and games from a bygone era. Crimson Skies. Available now.
Хоча покажу, як кожен спортсмен піднімає логліфт.
Покажи.
Можемо почати з Тірекса.
Ну давай, ложись в стену, давай.
Блядь, що шучу.
I'm so sorry.
Hello. Wait, am I on? Is the microphone on? Just a, there's a way to check that.
Mute, stop cam. And yes, I get okay. My little thing is moving. Hello, hey Jason Black, thanks for being here. I don't know what you're lolling at, my headache or crap that was happening in the video. What's up? I'm here and I started early, which is I hope to start at an earlier time, like end at midnight Eastern time instead of starting at midnight Eastern time. Yeah, it's all working. Okay, cool. Thank you. Got a little hello, a little politeness. I appreciate it. Anyway, so Jason, I don't know that do you catch my streams on replays or not? Because I have a format I use, and because I showed so many trailers at the opening because I know there's nobody here. So, um, I just tuned into this in your comment along with the loud music. Oh, thanks. Yeah. Anyway, so I'm getting a headache, and I wonder if I haven't eaten enough today because that can happen. And I usually say something about the gym, but I missed lifting today because I was running out of time and I was feeling like crap. And then it was like, well, I can make time for later and then go on stream earlier if I don't lift. But what was really happening is I was getting exhausted because of jujitsu today. So, all right, here we go. So I went to both classes. There's a nice lady who might be at the evening class that I should say hello to. And anyway, we'll find out about her. Oh, you haven't for a while. That's okay. So many channels. I know. It's usually water. Drink water until you can't anymore. I have 32 ounces of water over here for when my mug gets empty, and my mug is mostly water. I sprinkled chocolate in it, and it's like a quarter milk. But anyway, so back to jujitsu class. Good advice anyway. We'll put it up. Yeah, I worked with the big heavy guy today. He favors me in terms of working with me, but he also favors like 2 other people for sure. And he's getting over his injury, and he's feeling pretty good. I did grab his good leg in a way that would have hurt if it had been his injured leg, but he's doing a lot better, so that's good. But still, working with somebody that heavy, that tall is pretty taxing. And so I went to the evening class so I could pick on someone my own size, smaller, and that was awkward and weird. Still working with somebody really strong there, but extremely new, very strong, but also in jujitsu terms clumsy. And by that, what I mean is if you need to like make an adjustment to your grip, or whatever, like you're holding somebody's whole arm or whatnot, and you need to move. His adjustments are very jumpy, and being that strong, and when you've already got tension on somebody, being jumpy like that can be dangerous. So I had to be careful with him. Let's see. So, and then at the evening class, okay, there's a guy, another really strong dude, but he's smaller, also a federal agent. Like, there's a lot of law enforcement in my classes, but he's not out with the badge. He's the office type. And so he's, how do I say this? He's really strong, but he's also heavy. And he's a good guy. He's a dad, and all of his little ones are in the kids' jujitsu class. But 2 of them are just too big for the kids class now, so they've moved them to the adult class, the older of the 2 being 16. And so at the evening class, when we start rolling after class, like nobody was working with these guys. They were pointed out by the substitute instructor, not my normal coach. And it was kind of like, okay. And so they're brothers. And so they're kind of messing with each other, but the younger one's taking the lead. And I saw the mom, and I say hello to her, and I'm thinking, is that this dude's wife? And it turns out, yes, I was correct. But I'm like, these are yours, right? And she says, yeah. And this is not the children's class. This is the adult class after the kids class. Then they've been booted into there because they're too big. And it was like, he's pretty shy, isn't he? Yeah, he's shy. Okay. And I can see them like not learning anything, not doing any of the stuff they've learned. So when they were done messing around, by the time the buzzer rang, and it's every 5 minutes, I grabbed the older one, the 16-year-old, and was just like, okay, your turn. And he's like, what? So with his mom there watching, and she knows me. Afterwards, she's like, you work with my husband, don't you? Meaning at the gym. And I'm like, oh, isn't your husband so and so? Yeah, he's really strong, kicks my ass. But anyway, working with the kid, just put him in a position and remind him how to escape. Put him in a position, remind him how to escape again, stuff like that. And it was a really different experience for him. I could see in his eyes, he was like, oh, I actually have to apply and do the things I'm supposed to be learning. So that was a lot of fun. Anyway, so there's my jujitsu story for the day, just vamping to open. I'm going to open packages. And I've got 19 in the stack, so we're going to do 3 tonight. What do we got here? I have a body question for you. Oh, for over a week. Oh, good. I am not licensed in anything. Now, now I can read this. Well, I have certifications, but that's not the same as a license. I have a body question. For over a week, I've had joint pain every day. Different places, shoulder, back, combo next. Other shoulder, collarbone next day. Feeling my right wrist a little bit now. Okay, that's not a question, but go on. I'm sure you're typing right now. I find when one knee hurts for a while because I need to stretch, give it a couple days, the other knee will hurt instead because of whatever weird compensations I'm making for the one knee that hurts ends up hurting the other knee, and by then this one feels better. So let's see. My posture is trash. Waiting for it to show up. Hello. Come on. There we go. Oop. All right. My posture is trash, but I haven't changed anything for years now. So to have this every day, all of a sudden stretch, obviously. Yeah, there's stretch, and I'd say if you're hunching over a computer all the time, like slumped forward kind of thing, you've probably, it could be diet or deficiency or something. There's a lot of things that can cause inflammation. And if inflammation is bothering your joints, that could be diet. There are other problems. I'm discovering I have more sleep troubles than I realized. Even with the PTSD, I'm having other apnea troubles I did not know before. So one moment. I don't know what you'd be deficient in. Some people are upping. There's a new fad to go carnivore and reduce vegetables, increase protein and whatnot. And for some reason, some people are claiming to have success at that, no longer irritating their joints. If you are having joints that are getting irritated in rotation, that can often be what I described about my knee when I'm walking. One knee will hurt because my calves are too tight. And then as I'm taking care of that, because of limping weird and I don't realize I'm limping, the other knee will start hurting. Also, I got myself examined for gait, and holy cow, my gait is way off because of prior injuries. So when I'm coming off my foot, I'm going to pause for a moment on your question. When I'm coming off my foot, the big toe, let's say this is the big toe, I'm getting to the ball of the foot, and then instead of coming and pushing off the big toe, I'm going like this and then lifting. And I didn't even notice that. They took a video of me. I'm like, oh, holy cow. So you can also look at the bottom of your shoes and see what's wrong with your gait. But back to you sitting at a desk hunched over a computer. If that is the case for you, you may be placing your shoulders in a weird posture or something like that. And you may need to start strengthening the things that retract your shoulder blades. So if here are the shoulder blades, and let's say the top is up here at the top of your screen, your shoulder blade's supposed to turn like this when you raise your arms. It's this thing called the scapulohumeral rhythm, and I won't give the proportions now. But then the things that get weak as we tend to hunch over, let us spread, and it's just a little spread. That's all it really takes. It doesn't have to be like 10 inches. So usually from the midline of the spine to this edge of the shoulder blade, which should be vertical. So there's a hint for you there. It's about 3 to 4 inches. Some people are at like 2. Some people are right at 4 and they're healthy, especially if they're larger. But if average is about 3 inches for most people of most sizes. So anyway, so what can happen is the rhomboidus and then the lower traps, or sorry, the rhomboid goes this way. I forgot which way is the top up here. The rhomboid and the lower traps will, like a kite, they help retract the shoulder blades this way. And so if your scapula are tilting over from a tight pectoralis minor, or if these are getting weak and distended, strengthening those, one basic thing you could do to help strengthen those, if you ever see those old comic book commercials for the chest expander, these are like from the 70s and 60s, okay? What that actually is a back exercise to pull apart. And as you come apart, you should be retracting your shoulder blades and then pulling your arms apart. And the arm movement we're interested in is not your forearms and hands, it's your humerus, your upper arm. So as you retract your shoulder blades and spread your arm, get the timing on that correct. Go slow at first. So that can be okay, I see a message, but that can you want to strengthen your ability to retract like this and depress down. All right. So one thing I like to do when I am working this, because I do need to, is I also tighten the area below my belly button. It's called the transverse abdominis, and it's just to help with posture and other things. When I put that in place, I don't walk around trying to keep my TA tight all the time. But I do appreciate that as when doing other exercises, part of bracing. All right. And let's see. You are on Rubifen, a Ritalin Adderall. All right. So I've been sitting in a bad position for long hours. That'll do it. But that's nothing new for you. True, but it takes its toll over time. I'm practically trained to contort to hold these poses for years at a time. Yeah, that'll do it. So if one thing starts hurting, you will wiggle around and compensate for it, and that can make the next thing hurt. And what I'm telling you is just generic information about strengthening the shoulders for one's posture, and it has to do with coordination to retract. That's pull your scapula towards the spine, and depress is to bring the points of your shoulder blades down your back. Okay, so a lot of people want to stand up straight. They kind of just arch their lower back to throw their rib cage around. That's not the key to everything. And usually they're just making a problem worse. Also, if you have tight lats, speaking of lower back, I don't have diagrams on me. Where are we? Back in a moment. I just need something with a diagram in it. Let's see what we got. Yeah, here's lats. Fine. Okay. So your lats bring your arm down. We're looking at somebody's back, of course, but you see they innervate, or not innervate, that's where nerves are. The lats wrap up here, but they insert, that's the word, down in this white area, which is a aponeurosis, or a tendon sheet, if you would. And if they're tight, they will pull on your lower back, giving it too much curve. So instead of enough curve, but having this, because of the way they wrap here, and then they wrap from looking from behind, they wrap around the humerus. If you end up, like, let's say if I'm standing and my arms are pointed this way, as they get tight, they do this to your arms. So they help you internally rotate. Anyway, if your lats are tight, that can translate into other problems in posture. Let's see, and not just putting too much curve back here in the lower back, but also drooping your shoulders forward and pulling things like that. So anyway, that's all I'm speaking very generic stuff because I can't prescribe anything for you. Okay, I know, but it started suddenly. If it had been one thing, I would compensate and stop doing the obvious thing, but it's different each time. Yeah, and it moved to your wrist. That's weird. Okay, I found right now my lower neck and spine area. There we go. Has a little cramp, but I hadn't noticed since I hadn't moved much. Yeah, it sounds like you just need generic moving around, to be honest. So, instead of real specific exercises, generically moving around and look at your ergonomics, where you're sitting and stuff. That's the best I can do. I mean, since I don't have you in person, I can't do a lot more than that. And my certs really don't allow me to do much more than that. So I am not licensed in anything. That's why I'm speaking so generically. You'll do some warm-ups in the morning. Cool. Tomorrow. Neat. Okay, so where was I? So hello, everybody. Welcome to Opening Comic Books. Let's see. Mo Biggs isn't here yet, so that's half the show is missing at the moment. And I had to make a choice about what to open. Where were we? I tried to read. This has been a rough weekend. You'll do stuff in the morning. I know. Talking as buddies here, of course. And you're not going to sue. That's good, because that would be really expensive to file. Oh, there they are. Oh, the books. Oops. All right, so I'm going to do 3. I'm sure the usual suspects are expecting me at midnight. And here I am at before midnight. So, what do I open first? Okay, so weeks ago. Oh yeah, and it's not all about you suing. It's if I speak beyond what I'm really certified or licensed to say, that's a scope of practice issue, and that gets me in big trouble. So there you go. All right, so weeks ago. Yeah, this one's covered up. There was a lady, and Nina Paley, Paley. I'm going to look her up. Let's see. Why am I getting notifications in Twitter? And Nina, Paley. She's got a book going. I've been blathering for. We're 22 minutes in. I've been blathering about exercise. The blog. She got a blog. I actually know very little about her. I'm just looking for her comics. All this to get a link. No show prep here. I don't think this is it. Nope. Oh, crud. So we have a blog, ninapaley.com. I think this, okay, this is it. Strange website. And there's always, where were we? There's always generic safe advice, like if it was potentially magnesium deficiency or something. Most people, especially ADHD people, could use more. Yeah, thank you for reminding me. I just ran out of magnesium and I need to go get some. So, thanks. All right, and this oddball website here. I know nothing about this woman, so we're just gonna peek at her website real quick. Present, share screen. Uh-oh, which one was it? It's this one. Yeah. So that's weird. Okay. She's got a store now where she is selling a tarot deck based on famous people involved in the gender debate. She has her own unusual artwork, which is cool. The Apocalypse animated lenticular cards. Oh, I have so many blocker type things on this browser. Trying to show people's websites with it is almost useless. Yeah, I should do that. Lock those in. There we go. That's better. Okay. This is creepy. So that's what her lenticular cards do. They creep me. NinaPaley.com. Oh, Agents of Hag. This was the book that got her kicked off of Indiegogo. Humorous acronym gag. The Agents of Hag comic book. And they got kicked. Yeah, this is the one. Because apparently this is offensive. She said the comic I'm reading says women don't have penises and poof, women are disappearing from all over the internet. Okay. So when I saw the story, I dropped her a reply and just said, hey, why don't you try fund my comic? And she corrected me politely, saying, oh, that was all months ago. I've already got the book printed and I have a website. So I went to her website. There we go. A little ASMR for y'all. Okay, it doesn't look like anything too special. Oh, I got a little ding on it. That's too bad. Okay. I do not recall ordering this at all. So she had a prior comic strip, so I said, sure, go ahead, add that book on. This could be funny, it could be not. Hey, she signed it. Okay, little dent, happens in the mail sometimes. I get other books in this same type of mailer and they come through completely fine. There's no argument there. So I don't know what this is. Mimi and Eunice's intellectual poopery. All right, more comic strips. All right. We'll find out, or I'll find out in the future. This looks like her. I've seen her picture on her website, and what if I go back? Yeah, I think that is her. Was it on? No, her picture wasn't on the website. It was on, and those aren't tarot cards; they're regular playing cards. Okay, but she had an interview somewhere. I caught a link to that. Shrink this window. So let's see what's in here. It just looks like comic strip cartoon art. It's a thin little book. Women are disappearing from all over the internet. But who is disappearing them? Menopause woman? Oh my gosh, this is menopause woman. That is menopause woman. This could be not my alley. The Banhammer. Yeah. So this is what got her kicked off of Indiegogo. The Disenchanter. It's all just satire of current day. This could be terrible, for all I know. I'm sorry, I think that's funny. Actually, I'm not sorry. I just think it's funny. Right, so that's one. Let's see what we got. Is it Monday? It feels like... let's go stop sharing. It feels like something's missing. Yeah, I respect any artist making their art, but women's problems aren't really my thing. Hey, I didn't know how deep this rabbit hole was going to go. Okay, so all I know is I looked at her site, and she mocks all. I wouldn't call it women's problems, except for that, but she is mocking just everything out there in terms of this there is no gender thing. Looks like I won't be replaced by an aide anytime soon. It's Tuesday here. Feels like a Sunday to me. Oh, all right. You know, if I'm streaming to just you this whole time, that's okay. All right, move the anatomy book. What would people want to see next? Oh, I lost my place. Okay, found it. This one, I know I just slid it out without cutting it open. I didn't know that what this was being fulfilled or anything like that. And so I just sliced it open and looked inside and said, oh, I think I know what that is, and just put it aside. So I haven't flipped through this or anything yet. You're getting the fresh look. There's more in there. Oh, okay. I guess those are for the bookmarks. Tassels. I don't know any strippers. I'd be quick to agree that gender is mostly a social construct. Wear what you want, it's no problem, but they're the ones making it a problem. Yeah. This whole every time I see just let us have this one thing, no, that's not what they're doing. If you know any strippers, I know where to get tassels, but they're not doing the let's just have just one thing. Nice colors. It's the whole. They're not just wearing what they want. They're going way beyond that. Trans rights are human rights. You have human rights. So what's the argument? Mm-hmm. Yeah, that's pretty much how I see it. All right, I guess these are supposed to match up to certain bookmarks, but I can't believe I backed a campaign that's entirely swag. Some of this stuff I'm not actually even into, but that's okay. Yeah, I remember when it was you have to acknowledge gays, and I'm like, well, yeah, they exist. I'm not denying them. And I remember feeling weird for the whole being yelled at like I had done something when I just arrived, that kind of thing. When other people's abuses were being thrown at me, blame for other people's abuses was being thrown at me just because I was in school or whatever. Okay, there we go. I backed this for a few specific pieces, which is a lot of backing to get just a few things. Okay, I got that one. But it did quickly become acceptance, like, yeah, sure, they're there. The death of Matthew Shepard actually affected my thinking, because that is where I discovered that there are people who would go out and if they ran across a gay person, beat the person up just for being gay. And that had nothing to do with like the Bible or anything like that. Just some people think like that. And I was pretty shocked in college when I learned about this, that there's no way that's the way to treat anybody. Now, I have learned in the Old Testament the rules were different, but we're not in ancient Israel. We're not under a covenant that says do this. So that doesn't mean we run out and kill people that like that. Hell no, or like that meaning in that way. Like, hell no. That covenant is over with. So, I don't care what Ben Shapiro says. It's over. All right. I'm going to start with regular bookmarks. There's a lot of stuff here. Before I go to metal bookmarks. Ooh, that's a good piece of tape. This is weird. It looks like I have doubles. I did not double back this. Hey, Lion Ratton. How you doing, man? I opened up a book characterized by menopause woman. So, bro, you have been missing out. So, but I like how this looks like they're flipping someone off. That's cool. Anyway. Fact: men are more at risk of being assaulted walking the streets at night. Mm-hmm. Any excuse to victimize someone will be enough for some guy looking to beat someone up. Yeah. Oh, don't worry, Lion Ratton. You didn't miss too much. It's like 12 pages. I bought it for fun. This is the woman who was kicked off of Indiegogo for this book. She's making fun of everything out there with all of the gender identity confusion stuff. And menopause woman here is the one in the blue. So don't worry. Okay, yes, it's more dangerous. Got that. Let's see. It's more dangerous to be seen as a gay man or if you're wearing glasses. You know what's funny? And I should say funny in the sense of odd, is there is a psychologist who's been helpful on YouTube, helpful in me kind of discovering things about narcissism and whatnot. Whoops. Or if you're wearing a dress. So yes, it's more dangerous to be seen as a gay man or if you're wearing a dress. Yes, if you're... I was told I can't say transvestite anymore. I have to say cross-dresser. Screw you guys. Transvestite. All right. It's not something we can vote on. I didn't say glasses. Yeah, dress. I misread it. By the way, Jason, I'm dyslexic. So, anyway, here we go. I think some of these are wraparound. I don't know why I have doubles. Where was I? Matthew Shepard. All right, that's the same on both sides. Yep, same on both sides. One of these is supposed to be wraparound art. It might be that one. Oh, hey. Nope, same on both sides. There we go. That's overlapping art. There we go. And he's different on each side. And he's different on each side. Okay. Oh, it's just a loosened title. There we go. So yeah, there we are. Oh yeah, so I'm not allowed to say transvestite. That's weird. That is just weird. But there we go. If somebody feels normal dressing that way, they're not pushing it on me. You know, so they're leaving me alone in a sense, and I can leave them alone. So those are the plain bookmarks. And the metal ones look different. Let's see what we got. A little different. No, they're not. This is the back side of that one. So yeah, it's all the same stuff. It's just all metal and shiny, which makes it harder to show on camera. Overlapping art. Yep. Now, they don't have the hole in them for the tassel. Strippers will be disappointed. There we go. Voting for your guy isn't going to stop it, make it better. Or sorry, isn't going to stop it by making it. Sorry. Voting for your guy isn't going to stop it by making it a better kind of illegal or people making a protected class with different privileges from the rest of us. Right. I was waiting for more. You haven't typed more yet. Correct. What I've always seen with how the world is changing is the only thing that changes the world is a change in a sense of morality. What I see going on now is that the value of mercy is being taken advantage of and misappropriated. There's a word for in order to say there is no right and wrong. So moral relativism misuses the moral absolute of showing mercy. And then what? So a lot of this stuff undermines its own thinking. I guess I got to go find some strippers. All right. There was a little baggy for this, but I'll just have to tidy that up later. So a lot of this stuff likes to cut the legs out from what everything it stands on. So if they say you have to be kind to people, well, what's the basis for saying I have to be kind? And that basis is usually something they're trying to get rid of. So these people are idiots. How about, if you want to be a transvestite and I just don't beat the crap out of you for it, then we're good. You're doing your thing. But trying to say we'll make everything illegal, like we'll make firearms more illegal, doesn't actually make anything better. Oh, sorry, you can't see what I'm doing. Just trying to stuff these in. There we go. Come on. I don't know which one goes to which, but I will figure it out. Because that bright green, that is not a Bancroft green. So I'll work it out. So then we got stickers, most of which I may or may not care about. The team bookmark collection. Okay, so everybody gets... It came with a legend. Team bookmark. Team stickers. This is cool. Magnets. The stickers will wait. So everybody who says be kind to us is now saying we want to rule over you. It's not the same. That's when I got it for. Okay, that's funny, but I'm not really into it. That's just Bancroft stuff. This is Roquefort, real tiny, but this was really cool to see. I like that magnet. I'm a big fan of Downcast by Clint Stoker. Magnets are fun. Okay, what's next? Hey, how you doing, Felix? That was it, but this comes back to our subject. If anyone is allowed to make art and commentary on social issues, then everything is fair game. Critiquing one thing is the same as the next. Yeah. Yeah, I think it's pretty bogus that she got kicked out of Indiegogo. All right, these stickers are sticking. So I gotta highlight the next one. What do we got? Oh, Octopus Cowboy. Yes, we're doing Octopus Cowboy. That is the headliner tonight. It's gonna be Octopus Cowboy. So let's see. The same one image from Bancroft. Ooh, I almost tore this one apart. That's one sticker, and I almost separated it. Backend. Here we go. When I tried to back this one, oops, we'll get that off of there. How's it going, Lion Ratton? We got that. Okay. When I tried to back this campaign, Backend, Indiegogo kept rejecting, or the bank kept rejecting it from Indiegogo because they thought it was money laundering. Meanwhile, I could back other things from Indiegogo just fine. Put those aside. There you go. I had to read this a second time without falling asleep, but Tiger Blue was actually pretty good. Okay, we've got Neff has, this is Global Freak. Yeah. Neff with some of his Mavericks, and Neff knows how to make a comic book. I mean, he's very precise on every detail. And there we go. That's once again, Downcast. I really respect Mr. Stoker. Shiny stuff. Yeah, it's so funny when I hear people say stuff about the gays, and I'm like, well, that doesn't sound like my boss, you know. So, but then I found out after being where I work now for a while, you know, like it was pretty obvious he was gay, or is gay, and he's not dead. And I didn't know, but there were a lot of people at that workplace. We've had a lot of turnover too, where he had to keep himself kind of closeted because they would be offended and bothered and up in arms and crap about the fact that he was gay. But he's been working there doing his job just fine. You know, like, what's so hard about that? Anyway. Oh, so the headliner for opening packages. Mm-hmm. Make this as slow and painful as possible. So Dojo Kun's channel, we have a fake debate show, which usually devolves into not really debating anyway. But you get to say anything you want, which is kind of fun. Oop. Yeah, that's where it came from that guy. Everybody has his address, but I don't want to show it. And I'm not going to be able to be there on Wednesday, which sucks, because I want to meet the guy who wrote Octopus Cowboy. I just realized this and hadn't told Dojo yet. Here we are. So there's a family gathering. Pray for me. My mom's 80th birthday is coming up. And so we're just having a party. There we go. I had mercy on a poor soul. And I decided to get his ranting manifesto here on his idea of what the creative process is. That sucks. And he needs to learn to use better tape that peels off when you want it to. Whoop. Is this a textbook? Yeah, it's a textbook. Oh, here we go. Another point to the progressives. More people might need to be exposed to your boss to normalize it because it's strange to them. A lot of towns can be very homogenous. Yeah. Yep, it's just Narwhal, given how he approaches things. You know, people criticize his artwork because of how loose and shapeless it is and all that. And he's actually capable of a more precise artwork than he shows with this type of stuff. So this is a style choice. And the fact that he can make that choice is really cool. So not a lot of pictures to look at here. So look, words. We have words. Yes, please back Mythicals and Downcast. And hopefully when Mythicals fulfills, I'll have a nice surprise for you guys. So, all right. we don't need to spend a lot of time on that. So thank you, Narwhal, for the interactivity book. Oh, more of that impossible tape. Cut in the bag now. Okay. By the way, just so you know, the tape I prefer on my bags and boards is this. I know I haven't gotten the new camera yet. I did find one for 150 and for 60. I might go with the $60 one, but 3M's Scotch, and it's this matte finish magic tape. But I get it for the one, you can see where it is because it's fogged. It's matte finish, and then two, it's got the right stickiness that you can peel it back open again. And when I have it over a comic book like this, if the comic accidentally hits it, and I've been doing this since the 90s, they've had the same product. If it accidentally hits the comic, usually if your comic book is shiny, and I do mean a floppy, I've been able to very carefully peel it off without tearing the book, unless the book already has like folds and stuff in it. So 3M, the matte finish stuff with the green container. That's my deal. And apparently other people like that too. All right. So, oh, hey. So what have we got here? Okay. A card? That's good tape. I use that. Cool. We're okay. So I'm going to pick up Jason Black's thoughts here. A lot of towns can be very homogenous. But then you see the pride parades where some guy in bondage gear is whipping another guy's bare ass. I saw that in the middle. It was on not Larry King. What's his name? Ben Shapiro highlighted that in the middle of the afternoon, and people are bringing their kids. Yeah, my deal is no one's trying to prevent you from being a drag queen. We think you should not be wiggling your genitalia in children's faces. That's the problem. If you want a fetish ball, do that after 10 p.m. in a club. 10 p.m. in what time zone? Moving on. I know what you mean. Okay, so this, I think she's the lady from Earthbound. Yeah, Julia Robards from Earthbound. Maybe while I'm in a Nosferatu cover. I think this was the one book of his I didn't get. He gives a sticker all the time and his business card. There has to be some decency when you're out in public, says Lion Ratton. Yeah, some. I mean, if you know jiu-jitsu at all, the shirts we wear are called rash guards because they help keep you from getting weird crap on your skin because some people are gross. And they're skin tight. You know, it's a skin tight. Everybody used to make fun of skin tight biker shorts. Well, these are shirts now. Even then, because I got weight to lose and stuff, and I know people don't want to see me like that. When I come home, it's a very quick dash from the Jeep to the house, or I throw a shirt on over it. Got to be decent in public. And then there's indecent in public. So Narwhal's Shorts Compendium. I'm just gonna look. It's his stuff. Let's look for some credits. Did he get other writers? All right. So here we go. Created by Narwhal, edited by Blake Worrell. He has an editor. Yes. Naked Samurai, Pickle, Earthbound Draft, Naked Samurai 2, Occurrence at Owl Creek Bridge, The Mask of Red Death. Oh, Naked Samurai 3, Earthbound Trade. I wonder what that is. Okay. Cave Slave and Rabanza. Pictured opposite Narwhal in its natural habitat. It's him on his bed. Whoops. I bumped the space bar. So, yes. Conquest Comics Patreon. The Rainbow people really need to decide if they want to be normal and decent or if this is about parading your degeneracy. Okay, so my boss explained a few things to me a long time ago. And this was right in the spring of 2020. Something happened at work and I got slurred. So I had to, get out of that. By the way, he's reading Iron John. It's a good book. I just have to read it too. But I got slurred. It was really bad. And one, I have Middle Eastern in me somewhere, and it may be Persian Middle Eastern. We just don't know exactly where. But when you start learning history, like before the Crusades, it starts to make sense where Middle Easterners would raid up into Eastern Europe and leave behind genetics and whatnot, and that would be where I probably got like my darker skin, etc. I've talked about it before. That said, I got slurred for being straight, cis, white, and male, and I didn't correct him at the time. Like I might not actually be white, and I have been called the N-word before because of being really dark in the summer growing up. So I think Naked Samurai has been published somewhere else, at least the first part of it. So these might be just things published elsewhere. Yeah, so I got slurred. I'm talking to my boss, and he said that as far as he knows, and this is my boss speaking, I'm just repeating him, that all gay people, meaning the guys, go through phases, and being an activist for a while is just one of those phases. And so, but he warned me that the pendulum swings between all kinds of bigotry and abuse, which is be like the death of Matthew Shepard, gay bashing. We're not into that. And what we really need is in the middle, where people aren't being abused and people aren't, abusing and slurring from the other side. And he says, but that's not what they want. He's kind of my ear to the ground on this stuff. He says what they want is they want to overrule in power for a while before bringing it to center. And that's really dangerous, because once you get people who are very focused on power, like these Marxists, and their whole thing is power, when you swing the pendulum to put them in power and, oh, it's just temporary. No, it's not. The people who were being abusive over here, they weren't thinking, I'm going to beat up a gay dude because we're in power right now. That's not their thoughts. That's not the way that they're thinking. God, that's going to be a terrible clip if nobody goes and like, here's the quotation marks around it where I pause, but whatever. Okay. Anybody who clips that, I'll just have to counter clip them with the context. So anyway, the people who were thinking that weren't thinking about who's in power or, whatever. We're in power so we can beat up gay people. Not at all. It was just jackasses who thought that beating up another dude was a good idea for whatever jackassery reason those individuals had, and of course egging each other on. The rainbow people. Oh yeah. The problem is the Marxists are always focused on power. And there we go. So when the Marxist useful idiots and foot soldiers who don't understand what's really going on with the Marxism, when they are all focused on power and then the pendulum swings and they get some, the whole idea of we want power to overrule you and abuse you back so that then we can put things to center afterward, it's never going to happen. That's what's so dangerous. This needs the abusers over here need correction, but that doesn't mean that we flip society completely on its head to appease weirdo activists over here. And that's the thing, is the weirdo activists, that's not all. I mean, when I say that's not all, I mean, that's a tiny amount of people who genuinely are transsexual or gay or lesbian or whatever, or even just transvestite, or I'm sorry, cross-dresser. Yeah, but even just transvestites, they don't want all this noise. They don't want all this crap. So here we go. I don't disagree with activism. Okay. I think there's a good point at the base of all these bad behaviors. Yes. That good point is often hijacked, and that's why I mentioned mercy earlier. Is you get be kind to one another, and that's now hijacked to redefine a way and say kindness is now you have to let me sexualize your children. Like, that's terrible. Hey, crazy mad. Okay, activists need to learn not to betray the cause by making enemies everywhere. Right, and some activists are very much focused on that hijacking, where they'll take something good that both sides agree on, like don't beat people up, and they'll just twist it like I already described. I'm really bad at repeating myself, so I gotta watch that. Okay, so thank you, Jason. We're gonna flip through Narwhal's book. How you doing, Crazy? Crazy Mad, the Big Chad. All right, so I think this is Naked Samurai #1, and it's been published before. I know some people really hate Narwhal's art. I think some of it's really cool. Some of it, I could skip. I actually have $4.99. It was the book that was destroyed by coloring. And it was actually a good book outside of the coloring. So what is this one? This is Pickle. Yeah, they're holding pickles. No idea what these are about. Okay, so this is going to be, just keep a finger here. Earthbound Draft, I think. Is this Earthbound Draft? It may be. A lot of frames here. I think one of the pluses in Narwhal's art is he doesn't take his styling so far that he removes the basic characteristic he's trying to convey. Okay, square, strong guy. That's it. You get the point there. His other is trying to, show movement as best he can, which is why he has to redraw pages quite a bit. Let's see. Also, in some cases, gay men assaulted straight white men in the past, and that caused some of the violence. Yes, I'm not justifying it. Understood. I'm just saying that some of the violence was just punching back. Correct. And then what's really sick is you get the punching back, like according to political team, in the sense of, hey, I saw a news article where a gay guy beat up a black dude, and I'm a black dude, so now I'm going to go beat up some other gay guy. People think like that. I don't know why. People are stupid. Because in our culture, at least, we allow freedom of speech and expression. And with that goes freedom of association, yes. You're allowed revolutionary thought. You can go start a commune. We're not stopping you from doing it your way. True. So yeah, this is Earthbound Draft. A lot of pages. Ooh, boobies. Naked Samurai 2. I don't know if this was published elsewhere. I know part 1 was, and I don't know if the rest of this was. He does have a little bit of same face, same head syndrome across his books. He will reuse his characters that way, even though it's not the same character. Okay, Occurrence at Owl Creek Bridge. I've seen that on some promo material. This reminds me of a Disney cartoon, the way the backgrounds are blurred. I like that one. I hope I'm not giving you too much glare. Just don't try to impose on everyone else. They have the same freedom, correct. And right now, imposing on everyone else is what the activists are doing. There's that guy, he is a I say a trans dude, but what I mean is a dude pretending to be a woman. He is, oh no, I think he actually has the real dysphoria, but he's very annoying, Jeffrey something or other. And I'm one of those people that doesn't like Narwhal's art. Yeah, sorry, I missed that one. There's Crazy Mad. Okay, yeah. Jeffries, I think might be his last name or something, but he's the one who got up and said, "Parents, leave the room. I'm talking to your children now." Hell no. And communists always need the children because they know that if they have to indoctrinate at a young age, or people will be able to figure out that that's not quite how things work. But this whole deal of, I'm leaving a suicided guy up here. All right, Mask of Red Death, which I believe is, I'm going to read these. Art by Mistress Monto, colors by Narwhal. Yeah, it is Edgar Allan Poe adapted. Cool. Get the hung guy off here. Anyway, that whole thing, the activists are imposing, is where I was coming from on that. Yes, and it's really disgusting. They seriously believe in collectivism so much that the moment you birth a child, they own your child, is their point of view. It's bizarre. Okay, not liking things today. Get to that in a moment. It's not my fault. People are showing me things that kind of suck. I think Narwhal's art could be improved in several ways. That he does overdo his movement motion style at times. I'd like to see him do something tighter. So if he could show the motion but be tighter on it, that'd be pretty cool. All right, the people controlling propaganda are dividing the American people so that the American people fight each other instead of the people robbing us of our freedoms. Yes, exactly. I'll just leave that there. Move this up. It's okay if it covers up some of the art, so Crazy Mad's a little less annoyed by this. This is a different style for him. Yeah, I said I'd like to see his style tightened up. This looks like it's tightened up a bit, and I'm not quite liking it. That's better, though. This is good. He does kids' cartoon faces pretty well. Naked Samurai 3. Earthbound Trade. Art by Nicholas Hunter, story by Narwhal. Okay. So was this a bonus story that's supposed to come out in the trade? Jason's making you watch Battlestar Galactica. Or is trade just the name of the story? Has nothing to do with the trade paperback. That might be it. Cave Slave. Don't care for it. Roboznan? Read that. Robozan. All right. If I could make people watch things, it was an endorsement. Jason, you don't understand the power your endorsement has. It's legendary. All right, moving on. Robozan. There we go. Sorry if I'm pulling it in front of me. So how about if I move the camera? Whoops. Falling down. Should not have touched it. Just should not have touched it. Like at all. Pardon me. Pardon my thumb. Come on, camera. You know, it had that perfect middle ground. Okay, so we've seen a ton from this book. That is Cruel and Unusual Punishment. So B-sides. Did you watch BSG? What? Is that Beyond Stargate? Flannery O'Connor says, so many people can now write competent stories that the short story is in danger of dying of competence. What is BSG? Oh, Battlestar Galactica. Excuse me. Oh, duh. Oh my gosh. Only when I was a kid, reruns of the original. So not the current stuff. But Stargate Universe, I am. Yep, there. It just popped up. Thank you, Crazy Mad. Thank you, Jason. I actually figured it out before you posted. Yes, I win. Anyway, excuse me a moment. Have to refill that. Yeah, as I said, but I was a big fan of Stargate and Stargate SG-1, the series, and Atlantis, even though I know that the makers of the original film have totally immediately disavowed anything to do with the original, the TV series. So many people can now write competent stories that the short story is in danger of dying of competence. That's, yeah. So when I see critique that not every single thing is totally perfect, like my critique is often that a story needs to contain things. You love Stargate Universe. I go back to it every year. I just haven't seen it. Okay, somebody told me it's that they gave up and adopted the gritty worldview, and I don't know, but Blue likes the boring ones. Anyway, a lot of my critique of stories that you got to get so many things done in a story, and here they are. But I try to clarify that something of these things needs to be done, but it's not all of them. And if your story does not accomplish any of them, it failed. So what I'm seeing in some critique is that it has to have each and every one of these, or it failed. And that's not always the case. We can have a good story that only does these 5. And then and then the next story might do these 4, but those 2 or something like that. So anyway, but yeah, the short story is in danger of dying of competence. That's interesting because we can overcook our nitpickitude, as it were. Hey, Mobigs, you're late. Anyway, just more narwhal stuff in black and white. So this will be his attempt at short story writing. That'll be cool. I had a short story that was like 1,000 characters. So here's Robozan Og. I'll have to look at that more. So yeah, even if I think his artwork could use improvement, tightening up shapes, things like that. Look, I mean, he's got variety. This looks like Sunday Comics stuff. Even with that, I do find Narwhal's work interesting. It's like watching a kid try things and grow up. Except that he's actually an adult, and I don't mean to speak down to him like that. So sorry, Narwhal. All right. Hellos. It's a very different tone from the other 2 Stargate series. Actually, I think I've seen half of an episode, and I wasn't put off or anything. I just realized I didn't know who any of the characters were. It's been a while. Go watch it without having to pick a team. Okie doke. Hello. If I have to watch SG1 to understand the universe, then I'm definitely out. Yeah. Here we go. Narwhal said hello back to me for the first time about a month ago. There's these things called Stargates. Actually, I think you mean there are these things called Stargates. It's plural. I was the only person in his chat, and he still gatekept me. What? No way. It may have been because I called him Narnar. I thought that was my special name for him that he told me to call him. He's been cheating on me. All right, moving on. I'm not funny. Let's move on. That'd be hilarious if he suddenly popped up in the chat right now. Oh, you know what? I am going to give Narwhal some props, and I will show you why. He packed his Narnar. He packed his what do you call it? Foreign agent book, and it just wasn't packed correctly, so it just got beat to crap in my mail, and I'm going to show you guys that. All right. Have faith in yourself, Blue. That sounds like a downward spiral. All right. You know what? Why just leave when I can do this for what's coming up later?
Хоча покажу, як кожен
Wait a
спортсмен
minute.
подає.
That's the wrong one. Hold on. Present video file. Uh-oh. The wrong spot. Desktop. Stream images. There you go. Which has videos in it. I know. That's weird. Which one is it now? Oh, this better not be the orange peel. Okay, I guess I didn't download the entire video, but Narwhal shipped me a book that was just beat to crap damaged, and then this one has a little tiny dent in it. But I contacted him, tried to be really cool about it, and hey, I sent him photos. Whoa, what just happened? remove. Sorry, I bumped the space bar. Anyway, and he sent a replacement. Now, I got to be careful to not unduly create expectations on a creator for customer service or whatever. And but yeah, I got a really cool design in here because he saw that the book wasn't packed properly and he made it up to me, and I really appreciate that. There's an eyelash in there. Anyway, so yeah, I appreciate what he did. He sent me another copy of Foreign Agent to keep, and so of course I read the one that's beat to crap. But I do appreciate him going that extra mile for me. So it was nice of him, and he didn't really know it was me. A professional show. Well, it's easier when I'm alone, but sometimes I do get lonely. I'm taking your statement as sarcasm because all I see is my mistakes. Remove from studio. And all right, time for books. The first book, chunks of chocolate. First book we're going to look at is going to be a quick flip because I can't tell it to you all because it's a murder mystery. Where are the books? Yeah. All right. So, I screwed up my show prep. I need to go find a file for you guys. So this, here's the headliner. We'll get to that. Damn, I thought Blue would like that one. Have faith in yourself. Thank you. After the release of Octopus. After the release of Octopus Cowboy, to avoid marketing confusion, I have canceled my IP, Billy the Squid. I didn't see it. Yes, I do like that one. Okay. So let's see. Where is... Okay, Windows. I had to do a quick search. Come on, open up. Spinning up a hard drive. Yeah, Real Professional Show here. DWS. No, it's not in there. Okay, go to my other drive. I have an archive of a massive number of comics. Wait, DYS. Do you see what I see? DYSW. Not in there. All right. Downloads folder. What the heck did I? DYS. There it is. Save show. That. Whoops. Present. Share screen. Come on. Oh, you have to add it. Ta-da! Finally. God, that took a long time. I'm so sorry, guys. Where's the edge? There's the edge. Did not show prep this properly. So, as you can see, hot lady. And there we go. Nick Brewster down here. He's an Aussie. Apparently he works in film. And I didn't give him any links here because I couldn't. I was like really going fast and I couldn't figure it out. And I read this entire thing digitally. So this book is pristine. Have not opened it yet. There are a few double page spreads that he uses somewhere in here. This book is gruesome. This guy is, I'll show you this. He's dressed up as an SJW for Halloween. He's wrapped in bubble wrap. I'll show you guys later. But anyway, this book is just gruesome. And like there's dismembered body parts in places. It's pretty bad. So it is a murder mystery all about kids on campus. And so for one Halloween, here's the party. The Halloween party that they're having on their campus in whatever college. It's before the Australian lady shows up. So this is in the States. And this young man who's dressed up as MC Hammer, his sister is murdered. Now, some of the discussion they're having starts to get into things having to do with, well, I mean, they have their little dating and whatnot. In the beginning, I was like, was this a mistake? But no, it's fine. You'll notice it seems like this, if this looks like storyboarding out a movie, that's because the guy who wrote it does movies. That's why it's this freaking thick. Like, it's a huge book. Glad that was the wrong one. Real Professional. Is this the book that starts at dance? Yes, it is. Okay. You read the preview and it didn't hook me. And that's the part I'm in now, was in the preview. So I took a chance on it. They're at their costume dance. She gets murdered, but they're having all kinds of discussions about, oh, and he does all the misdirects to try and make you think who the murderer is. It's all in there. And then, so yeah, she falls to her death right by her brother. So a year later, there you go. This becomes the trauma, and this we get 1 year later, and here's this new girl who is Australian. And so the murders pick up again. Throughout this, everybody's joking about the whole SJW problem on campus and how the activists are taking over. Maybe it's good we had that discussion earlier. Anywho, what do we got here? Because this is all right. Butch Cassidy and the cephalopod kid isn't even getting out of the development phase. I had to work on every part, and it took way too long. You guys are awesome. So, it's a good thing you don't want Butch Killigan's you don't want to be on Butch Killigan's bad side. That's cool. So they're talking about this. It does offer some misdirects, and he uses the whole discussion of politics to start creating factions within the character set. And I thought that started to work pretty well. It does get a little tiresome, but bear in mind, I read this in very spaced out pieces as I was doing laundry. So I bring my tablet with me and read digital comics. So as I'm at the laundrette, and so then the murders pick up again, and he does enough misdirects that you're just not going to believe any of them. Oh, this one's really bad. So I won't reveal who the murderer is at the end, of course, but a couple of times he does. And this is an Antifa group being led by a sociology professor. He does get to the point where you're starting to wonder twice you notice and wonder, like, okay, we're focusing on a character. They're either the murderer or going to die next. It's one or the other. It's that kind of thing. And I did want to show at the next Halloween party. So, I mean, there are protests because a speaker is coming to town. The speaker is supposed to represent a cross between Milo Yiannopoulos and Ben Shapiro, like kind of wrapped into one. So a lot of cussing in this, tons of cussing, but it's written by an Australian. So, you know, get what you pay for. Oh yeah, there are medical students here. So always adding weirdos and tension, and you just find that there are just so many unlikable people. Let's see. Many misdirects on who's around. I want to get to the second party. Here we go. There it is. Before everybody ends up on drugs. There's at one point, one person they think is murdered, isn't. So, nope, too far. And come on up. This costume is the best. And he says, yeah, literally he has SJW written across his forehead. SJW, and he's wearing bubble wrap. The entire suit is bubble wrap. It's a beautiful thing. The Magnificent Eight tentacles. We're getting there. So, I ended up enjoying the book in the end. Certain parts of it felt like a drag, but that's because I was rereading them. Other parts of them were just tedious but necessary, and it's that awful balance of we have to get through this tedium, but it's necessary. The good, the bad, and the inky. Okay, and so yes, I ended up enjoying it. It is a crap ton of pages, but he drew it like he's doing every shot in a movie, and that's why. So it's not a problem with that. Okay. All right, so we unshare. That's my quick version. Stop that screen. I have I have a paused version of Oleksiy Novikov looking at me from down in StreamYards here. Or sorry, Alexia Novikov. All right, water time. So my boss and I were traveling for work, and he did the driving, so I got to read a comic. And then that's a really good thing. Oh, his great grandson, Squirty Harry. This is great. Anyway, the boss man was, because the boss man was driving, I got to read a book. So I was like, I'm going to read that Octopus book because the Octopus guy is going to be on Dojo's channel and I'll be meeting him. So I read his book and it rocked. And I'm really glad I read it. And then it turns out I'm not going to be on Dojo's channel and meet him because I have to travel. So while Dojo is streaming, I will be in another city at the gym run by the black belt who trained my coach, who is as a black belt. So that'll be really cool. I'm looking forward to that. So I emailed him and I'm like, how do I get in the door and what do you want for pricing? And I see these classes on your schedule. And he's like, dude, just get here. So that's pretty cool. All right. The artwork in this, I think, is a lot of fun. It's great. I wish I had a PDF to show you guys. So the last of the molluscans. You know what? I'm going to message the guy and tell him I'm doing this. I deliberately did not message him because I just wanted to do the thing. I'm going to message him and say, here's where it starts. But we've got to show him, okay, Stargates. So dude who wrote this book, Jason, here we go. I got to show you all these Jason, not Jason Black Arts, but the Jason who wrote the book, Jason Orfala. After the release of Octopus Cowboy, to avoid market confusion, I've canceled my IP Billy the Squid. Dude, I hope you enjoy these. Read a preview of that. Okay. Butch Cassidy and the Cephalod Kid isn't even getting in the development phase. Sorry. Good thing you don't want to get on Butch Killigan's bad side. I know I'm rereading The Magnificent Eight Tentacles, The Good, the Bad, and the Inky. I'm rereading these for him. And the last of the molluscans. There. Now I can just tell him to watch one part of the stream and catch all those comments you guys made because they're awesome. Let's see. I hope Blue isn't planning to kill this dude in a duel. No, I am not. Coincidentally. He has not given me any reason to. But somebody sent me a documentary because of the personality stuff around comic book people. Sent me a documentary about, oh no, I thought I put that on there. Great grandson, Squirty Harry. I'm not going to gatekeep Squirty Harry. Okay. But yeah, this documentary was about the a gymnastics coaching quote unquote doctor. Okay, I need to move over here. Don't fall. Earthquake. Okay. Gymnastics coaching pseudo doctor Nasser is his last name. Larry, I think, is his first name. And just to hear the interrogation he went through and hear the personality and stuff like that. And man, that was creepy. Why did I bring that up? Am I planning to kill this dude? No, I'm not going to kill Jason at all. But when I hear about, dudes molesting small children and taking advantage of families and just all the crap he did, like, it's really, that's an answer to the question there that they're going to be just debating on Wednesday is what would drive you to go harm another person, and defending another person from their predatory nature. That's it. And if defending has to be physical like that, so be it, just to answer the question. What did I do? Nothing. There are two Jasons here. Jason, you're fine. Anyway, I did enjoy Last of the Molluscans. You guys are just awesome. Oh, I hope Blue isn't planning to kill this dude in a duel. The coach. Oh, God. No. There's no way it would happen. Before we dive into the book, last week, our other black belt, the one who's visiting as a PT student, he practiced something on me because they were having a discussion. I think I mentioned this. It might have been last Monday. And that guy was so fast and just ganked my arm and stopped. Like, flawlessly stopped, where he moved me really quick, no joint damage, nothing. It shocked the hell out of me for somebody to move that fast, and just, but he's pretty right. Oh no, I think I mentioned this on one of Liam's streams, but yeah, he made some kind of decision where he didn't wait for the guy to tap, or he thought the guy was tapping and let go too quick, and so on the timer didn't win on a tap, and so he lost on points or something like that. And the dude he lost to on a point or something like that is like 5th in the world for jiu-jitsu. So he would have won otherwise, because he was like only 1 point behind, but was submitting the guy when he thought it was over and let go too quick or something like that. Anyway, so yeah, this guy is just shockingly amazing. So the idea that I'm going to go beat up and kill a black belt, no, not going to happen. This is now a 3rd black belt we're talking about, my teacher's teacher. Ain't happening, man. No, in fact, I've seen a lot of talk. I've seen a lot of talk of people trying to be tough and crap like that, and it's one thing to joke around about, like, yeah, come fight me or something like that, but really the people who take it more seriously is like they've never really seen violence, and it. You don't just go pursue violence. So anyway, like I said, defending another person would drive me over. So I love the artwork in this. We're going to move on for Jason Orfala's sake. And the book opens. So now we get our massive synopsizing. Here we go. We open on a later scene, and here is our cowboy Octopus, little tentacles hanging out and stuff. And I keep missaying it, Cowboy Octopus, instead of Octopus Cowboy. And he's riding into town, Dusty Town, of course. But in his horse is telling him to take it easy, don't kill anybody. So, and then he asks the other horses, I should have kept my big mouth shut, right, fellas? Or huh, fellas? And all the other horses are just looking at him, but they're not answering. So he just he sighs. I like the clack, the little sound effects going on. And he's walking into a conversation. We get everybody's conversation. One of the one thing this guy does really well in laying out his comics is he uses conversation that would just be like filling a diner, and that's cool. I'm waiting for it. Ding! There you go. The conversation that you would normally see in a Marvel comic with just faces, or even Tom King writing DC, people just talking, and it's pages of just a face talking over and over again, or tall balloons. He overlays that in more than one occasion with you seeing things that develop us into the story, like hanging up his hat, and we're getting these weird off-center shots of the octopus, so that we know what's going on. I mean, it's the title of the book. We can see him on the cover, but here, this is, we're going to see what they see. And one of them says, are you that midget fella that's been causing trouble around parts? And of course, he's got this weird gown on over his cage, so he's got a gun belt on, and we don't see all what's going on here yet. But is this like a lady's dress? He's misappropriated, I guess. So he's interrupting the game here. Remember that face, because by the time I finished reading this, I didn't remember the face. And this guy warns him, stay away from it. He knows what it is. That's the end of the book, is where we see this guy. We don't meet him till the end of the book. All right. And they're going to interact with this. He grabs an arm, he cracks an arm, etc. He's coming in here to settle a score. So he shoots anybody who's in his way. He shoots all 3 people at the table. He's got a hatchet for one of the guys. I mean, this is an intense fight scene, the way these are laid out. Good job laying these out. The artist's decision, and I forgot to read the credits. The artist is the writer. So, I mean, he's doing a nice job on a lot of this. Written and illustrated, no editor listed. This guy lucked out that he did so well and without an editor. I'm not saying it's flawless. It's just I kind of forgot what the flaws are. So, Yeah, horses are generally pacifist. There we go. Anyway, he shoots up the place and uses a hatchet in it, and squirmly? Yeah, squirmy son of a bitch. That's what he's getting called. So why he's wearing this gown, I don't know. But people think he's a midget. So his main target has run out, leaving everybody else, and he's reloading here. I like how the tentacles are always doing the job of holding something and then behaving as like a thumb or a finger. Pat Vale says this book was really well done. Yeah, it was very well done. The coloring too. I mean, we've got whole tones here as we turn red because he's about to finally kill the guy he came for in a long distance shot. Okay, mix of blues and browns and tans. A lot of the book is tan, of course. A lot of the coloring is muted where it needs to be muted, so you get that dry desert feeling through most of it. And then finally, after the gunfight here, the horse grabs him because he's not hydrating well and just throws him into a water trough. All right, and then we cut scenes, and we're on to a different scene now. It's 1 year earlier. All right, so you don't need to start a book. I saw somebody tweeting about this. I'm like, what the hell are they talking about? You don't start a book. And then I remembered what they were talking about later. I just remembered again now, but I've already started saying it, so I might as well say it. If you start a book with 2 weeks ago, and that's the opening page, 2 weeks ago relative to what? You don't do that and then say now. Of course, this guy didn't do that, but his opening in the corner here is Santa Fe, was it? Yeah, Santa Fe, New Mexico, 3,300 miles from the Pacific Ocean. I'll talk about that again in a sec. Reminds me of a field trip to the tide pool in second grade. I picked up an octopus and it inked me. Aw. Was it tiny? Because they're octopi this big and they'll get scared and ink you. Anyway, 3,300 miles from the Pacific Ocean. What part of the Pacific Ocean? That seems like it's kind of far. All right, so we hit. So anyway, we don't say 2 weeks ago, and then in that book, never ever get to 2 weeks later or now, as it were. You should. It was small, not tiny. Okay. You just opened it and then have 2 weeks later. Yeah. But that book that starts with 2 weeks ago. There's never a time jump later in the book. That's dumb. Okay. And if you're going to start at 2 weeks ago, you get to the end of the scene that should be 2 weeks ago, and you say 2 weeks later, which is what Mo was saying just here. Oops, missed it. There you go. Yes, I know that the point is that they're inland. I'm just realizing it's just that, if you're in Santa Fe, 3,300 miles from the Pacific Ocean isn't, the nearest point on the coast. It's where he was taken from. So, okay. And my encounter also took place in the Pacific Ocean. Oh, good. Yeah. But your point was good, though. Or his point was good. They're inland. I like that because at several points in the book, they mention, and it's only 3, I think, how far they are from the Pacific Ocean. And so I like how Jason here has drawn us into the story a little at a time. Oh boy. Anyway, drawn us into the story a little bit at a time to get us looking more from the octopus's point of view, that maybe he just wants to go home. And so I thought that was a nice way to do that. Or how far he's gone from home, like Samwise Gamgee, another step, it'll be the furthest I've ever been from home, which is true for the entire rest of the story. But anyway, so take that down. So we're seeing a flashback, and this gets into coaching, something I do want to mention about coaching. So his owner, as it were, who captured him, is this dude. So this guy up here, and he is keeping him in a mud pit with the dead bodies of other animals. So this is thoroughly unpleasant. He's got some kind of cage on him to keep him from squirming away. Normally, octopi can squeeze through almost anything that their beak can fit through. Depends on most of it. Horses don't talk. Comics broke me. That comics broke me thing was allegedly started because somebody worked himself to death. What they mean by worked himself to death and how, I don't know. That sucks. And everybody's had their down moment. So that's rough. All right, so he's down in a mud pit. He's being kept there. And then later in the book, we hear his owner there saying that he kept him in the mud pit to toughen him up. All right, I have a small problem with this, and I will pause for a moment on what that problem is. My problem isn't with it in the book. People do that. It's just part of the story. In real life, there are a lot of people who have an attitude that I feel strongly about. And it's a bad attitude. It's a bad coach. It goes like this. All right, so if I'm going to punch you, and I've started saying this a lot more often. I've even said it to my coach just to run it by him. If I'm punching you and you don't like it and you say, knock it off, I say, oh, well, the problem is you haven't learned to be punched and appreciate it yet. So I'm just going to keep punching you harder. Now, imagine you're coaching a kid and the punch is figurative. All right. So everybody's going hard on against the kid. All right. So I am going to, all right. Horses Don't Talk. That's my bookmark. I'll just put a star there so I know where to come back to. And with this idea of, if you don't know how to handle XYZ, then we just need to keep grinding you harder on XYZ to make you learn. That is immature and arrogant. It does not take care of other people at all. And it doesn't help the target person, the kid being coached, learn how to handle whatever XYZ is. And so you see that a lot. And really what fathers and coaches should be doing is taking the kid or the friend or whoever, or the student, and saying, okay, you're having trouble here, and I'm going to use the punching just as an example. So I'm not advocating punching children, just so you know. I mean, let's say we're teaching them boxing maybe, but you say, all right, when punched, figuratively, here is the way you handle it. Here is the thing to do. And then as a coach or father or whatever, you understand that the person learning is going to go through failure repeatedly while they're trying to do the thing you just told them to do so that they can handle the punch. So, and I see so many merciless people out there arguing about stuff. And this is their attitude now, is if they see somebody they deem to be weak, then if I think you're weak, I have to go after you. That's animalistic. I mean, that's sociopathic animalistic. And also, well, I hate to say this, I've heard this about Middle Eastern cultures too, that some Middle Eastern cultures, I'm going to read that later, Mo. Anyway, some Middle Eastern cultures believe, because of the tribal origination of some of these sub bits of culture, even though they're in whole countries now, but I'm speaking of pieces of culture, depending on where you go in the country, they will say that if they see weakness, they must attack it in order to kill it, because to make themselves bigger. In schoolyards, you'll see pushing down on other people in order to make oneself look bigger, and kids who behave like that. So I'm seeing a lot of society that just behaves this way now, and it's disgusting. I mean, it's really disgusting how these alleged adults behave this way towards each other. And I'm going, yeah, and even claiming we're picking on so-and-so so that he learns. And it's like, well, is anybody coaching him on how to react properly? Or are they just screaming at him how to react properly? Because that doesn't help anybody. I've seen children and adults be screamed at, and it's weird. Like, you'd think adults could handle being screamed at. No, it really does rattle the mind a bit, where, being screamed at in the middle of some other high intensity situation doesn't help the adult even to learn something. Okay, so we got more stuff coming up. All right, so punching harder on somebody who doesn't know how to take a punch doesn't teach them how to take a punch. It's just relying on randomness and luck. It's stupid. All right, so octopi belong in the water, or an octopus belongs in the water. Sorry. Horses don't talk. Yeah, I know. So bizarre. Let's see. I regret canceling Billy the Squid because I just thought of a good title for issue number 1. High noon at high tide. Dude, it's in your power not to cancel this. By the way, Mo, the tweet promoting this, which I tagged Chris Gustow on, or can't say his name at the moment, was, will it be, Octopus Cowboy versus AR-15 orangutan, or, and I put an extra N in there like gun, versus 6-gun gorilla. So anyway, they don't know the person worked themselves to death. There's no information about the cause of death. Okay, then I just repeated a bad rumor. My apologies. Industry people just wanted to talk about themselves. Well, that's gross. Okay. Coach Blue disavows anything beyond the open hand slap to the face when training children. That's right. Toxic masculinity, unless women do it. It's just toxic attitudes, period. Show some respect, Blue. Those children are tomorrow's pioneers. Cuttlefish at the OK Corral. Oh, man, that's awesome. Okay, I've had my little venting. Quit being jackasses. Not you guys. That's the venting thing. All right, anyway, back to the story. So we see our horse, whom we already know, not talking now, and they're pulling the octopus up out of, who has no name, up out of the pit, and they're saying a few things, and it's a setup for a fight. So this guy with the funny eye there, and this lady and her father, the doctor, and then the hired hands down there. So he is dating, sleeping with this woman who is ill in some way, and her father is part of his little troop riding around with animals. They've got a hyena and an octopus, and apparently they've had another bird before who's down here in the pit as they leave. It's just prize fighting with animals. So these two going at each other. The discussions bring out a lot. I like how he brings out characterization without wasting too many panels on just people talking. If you're going to do that, give us extra pages, and he did. And what they discover from the guy who's organizing these fights is that some of his own men were betting against him, and his own men aren't supposed to be betting at all. So they do drag the octopus out. I hate this cage on him. I hope somewhere in this book he's able to get rid of this cage, unless it's somehow giving him like help, like giving him a place to wear the belt or something. I don't know, wear the gun belt. So they get into their fight, and the hyena does bite him, and a piece of his tentacle pops off. Now, elsewhere in here, it is indicated that the doctor that he's traveling with is trying to come up with all kinds of serums and snake oil and serums and snake oils and whatnot, and his daughter's trying them. And I'm going to read something here. Okay. It wasn't a bad rumor. That's where it started. You were right. Okay. They didn't know that. Okay. Working yourself to death in comics doesn't even make sense. I knew a guy who's really into video games. When an expansion of World of Warcraft came out, stayed up for over 52 hours, and it hurt him. All right. So when I hear comic creator worked himself to death, I'm going, okay, maybe he was South Korean. You know, 'cause I've heard weird crap like that too. So I didn't question it. They just wanted to talk about their problems. That part I don't doubt. Some people just, any excuse to whine. So anyway, let's see. So so if some guy died because of staying up too late or repeatedly or whatever, somehow overworked himself to the point where it got him sick and he died from it, that's something else. All right. So what we see in this book, back to the book, please. He's fighting the hyena. It's a fight. I think the fights are really well drawn in this. We get, we don't have to get every blow. It's not quite what Do You See What I See was doing in that book, but we get the details, and he sneaks in details really well. So we see purple blood. Oh, okay. And then the hyena trying to bite. Got a bite there. All right. So here's the bite. This is overlaid with conversation, so we don't have to waste more pages having a conversation to get things established and told. And then, okay, I'll read that in a minute. Anyway, we don't have to waste more pages showing people talking when we can just have that conversation over the fight. I think that's a good time saver, and it gives us, story going on here, etc. So he loses the chunk of his tentacle. Here, the fight organizer, big dude back here, is figuring out that these two hired hands, there's something going on with their identity. It wasn't clear to me, and I just turned the page anyway. Finally, we lose the tentacle. We see his blood splatter, etc. He wins this fight. There's blood in the hyena's mouth. All right. blood in the hyena's mouth there. All the details are necessary. Very well told visually. And he wins by choking out the hyena through a squeeze. But then we see the hyena's eyes later. And so again, more blood in the mouth. And it's the octopus's blood. The doctor keeps the octopus's tentacle, which is still wiggling around on its own, and patches up the octopus, but takes some of his blood to experiment with it for reasons unknown. He's just a very curious guy. Okay, I'm going to pause there. The curiosity. Dude playing World of Warcraft was fine until he thought about what he had done. Then he died of shame. He should. Actually, he works for the FBI now. I'm not kidding. He is the most immoral person I've known in terms of pretending to be moral, but having massive double standards. And yeah, not immoral in terms of like, sexually abusing anybody or something like that. No. But just really having no center and no grounding. And he's very big into computers, and the FBI came to him and hired him. So yay. Anyway, as Zach was pointing out, the next person using Comics Broke Me is your editor. You are Comics. Who are you complaining about? Wait. The next person using Comics Broke Me is your editor. You are Comics. What are you complaining about? Okay, I'm missing something there. But okay, back to the octopus. But you might be a couple minutes behind me live. Okay. We don't have to waste pages showing people talking. Blue is like the anti-milkshake girl editor. Waiting for that one. Blue sounds really fed up with this fed. I'm fed up with abuse of authority. So, all right. So the octopus gets thrown into his trough, a water trough. So obviously he's bleeding in there. Because it's water and water tends to be blue, it's a little unclear that he's tainting the water by bleeding into it. So we get shown that bluntly. And so we can see a little bit here. He's looking at his chopped off tentacle. These guys are pissed because they lost money. I'm a couple of minutes behind you reading that comment I posted minutes ago. Okay. All right. Yeah. Thank you, by the way, Jason. And yeah, so they want to kill the octopus for whatever reason. Like, that didn't make a lot of sense to me. But because our owner here, whose name I need to give him a name. Mustache Dude is not going to do it. And okay, Boss. They're calling him Boss. Slade is the name of the octopus. All right. Anyway, the boss comes out to check on them because they're supposed to be taking care of things, and he sees that they are not. So he leaves the woman behind. He's going to researching, and he sees these are problems. These guys are misbehaving in some way. I'm going to try and hurry up a little bit, but they are drinking what they are supposed to use to clean the octopus's wound, and they're not bandaging him. They're just tying him up with no water in his trough for him to inside the cage for him to use. They literally throw the bandage at him. They're just angry that they lost money. This is a great scene. Their discussion that they have while getting drunk is superimposed with showing Slade, I believe this would be Slade, the octopus in the sea. We get to see his beak poking an eye of a shark. And the shark here has bitten his tentacle. I don't know if this relates to any of the weird supernatural stuff we're seeing. Got pieces of Slade falling off. This is just a really cool scene. It's inky and foggy, where he did the coloring so it fogs over the clear lines. That's neat. Okay, good job. I mean, and this is supposed to be him inking his escape and bleeding. And you just watch this journey that the octopus went to, descending down past sleeping whales and whatnot to go heal. And so our horse drinks out of the trough, gets the same blue ink in his eye that the hyena did, starts hallucinating. This is hilarious to me. I'm like, oh my gosh, this is starting to make sense now. So I loved it. Our boss comes out, and the octopus is bandaging himself. And to me, that this is a great pose. He looks like he's plotting his revenge. I love it. I really do. Okay, Boss Seabass. Color is behind or ahead. Boss Seabass. Instead of Boss Hog. Okay, Seabass. Anyway, but Boss Man, he catches them not doing their job and murders one, because he can't have the liability, but he kind of attacks him first to make the guy attack him back and then murders him. So there we are. It's like, it's a murder. And then he takes the knife that he was being attacked with, goes to the drunk dude, kills him, and then arranges it to make it look like they killed each other, in a drunken fight, gives the octopus some water. And that's where the hyena goes back to the lady. But in here, the hyena starts interacting and realizes that he can be understood by the octopus. So the animals can all talk to each other if they drink the octopus blood. In the meantime, whatever illness, which is undefined, that the daughter is dealing with, the red-haired lady, it gets cured by her drinking the octopus blood mixture. Like, what? Okay. What if this is all one horse's fever dream? You know what? It might be. So I love it. So this is all very mysterious and weird. And the doctor's a bit suspicious. He suspects that this was foul play, and it was. But to make their money back, they have to go back to the city where Boss Man ended his career as a fighter himself. And we deal with the politics of the town, so we're drawn into that. This whole thing is a setup, and then it all turns into why this guy at the beginning of the book is getting killed. And we get a background story on the Boss Man and how he accidentally in a fight killed this dude's brother. Meanwhile, everybody is spiritually connected who's been drinking octopus blood or whatnot. I really love how this is all laid out. I feel at the end of the book like this fever dream of one horse, we'll call it that, the one horse fever dream, actually told me something where, and now that I know that number 2 is coming out, I know I can kind of show and spoil the ending. Otherwise I would stop here. But I feel like it didn't just establish that it's very well laid out. There are multiple ways we're given information, and something complete happened. In other words, it's not just these things happening, but also what does it mean? And so for me, what it seemed to mean, there are many things it could mean, because what it meant is story. Just stuff happening is plot. Okay, so I try to abide by that rule when I look at books like this for you guys. And I'll read that in a moment. But and Slade's learning to pick locks and stuff like that. So, and the horse helps him pick a lock. This is just so great. But so all this stuff happened. What does it mean? And I think without when I first read it, it seemed like a coda here, but I think we needed this part that seemed like a coda, because without it, the beginning would make no sense. So the guy who's organizing this, the fights in this town, is telling the brother of the guy who Boss Man killed, hey, this is your opportunity to get rid of Boss Man. They all hate him for some reason. And so what this means to the characters, like a big MacGuffin, is we now know so much depth about where this guy came from and why he's got the heart and attitude and why he's in the situation he's in. And it makes sense. So during the fight, here we go. They're going to start their fight against this gorilla, and it's 2-on-1. Because they can talk to each other, they learned to fight together. That was cool. Okay, next time Slade can Slade. Okay, wait a minute. The first Slade. Okay. Next time Slade track down the undersea serial killer with gender identity issues. Find out in Goodbye Seahorses. I like that. Anyway, so what made this complete wasn't just that it gave me an introduction to a world or things like that. It's that we got motive for why he's doing what he's doing, why he wants to, how he got into this place of life, why he wants to avoid the town he's in. We've got him acting on motive, and we've got character, and it's likable. Like, he's a villain, it seems, but he's a villain where you actually understand where he's coming from by the end of the book. I thought that was great. All this stuff happens, yeah, but what does it mean? is this octopus is going to kick ass and rule the world. During this fight, blood from his bandage gets into the gorilla's mouth here, or into the gorilla's eyes, excuse me, here, and starts to affect the gorilla so they can communicate together, which causes them to escape from the fighting arena just as Boss Man's being murdered. So Boss Man gets shot in the crowd, and they're trying to stop the fight for other reasons because of how the fight was going, and suddenly the three of them work together to break out of their chains. So anyway, so what did it mean is more mayhem next. I'm having, it felt like it meant something. I'm just having trouble putting that into words. A fistful of calamari. Okay, so I have spoiled the ending, I know, but that's because there's a sign-up link in the description where you can sign up for Octopus Cowboy 2. Hopefully you can still get copies of number 1. Yeah, this isn't just a giant ad. I loved reading this book. At first I got into it. I'm like, this is weird. What's going on? And then the way he just lets you, the reader, piece things together and get to know depth on every character, I think, or enough depth, not full depth, but enough for each character was great. And then yanks the rug out from under you. So here's the brother of the dude at the beginning of the book accidentally dying. Tying things together here, like why our boss man lost his 2 fingers was this guy bit them off and either choked on them accidentally or otherwise was hurt further in the fight or bit them off while dying or something. All you know is he died. So anyway, but what did it mean is it's I don't know how to say this, is that this octopus has a mission and now we know what it is. And that explains why he wanted to track down and kill the dude he killed at the beginning of the book. Like, oh, so despite his owner being a bad coach and yanking him out of the ocean for a fistful of calamari, okay, despite all of that, he still has a sense of justice. This isn't like arrogant pride or anything like that. And he's out there to see justice be done. Like, that was just really cool. The ending at the beginning, or the ending that didn't just leave the opening scene from 1 year later, hanging. And of course, we didn't start with 1 year later. We started with the opening scene and then 1 year earlier. So like this tied it together really nicely that this octopus is super intelligent and has, but he's a normal octopus. They're really intelligent. And he has a sense of justice. And he's, this is just so cool. I love the imagination in this. And I'm going to assume, yes, it is One Horse's fever dream. So thank you, Jason Black, for being here. Anyway, that's what I got tonight for you guys. How long did we go? I'm at 2 hours. Holy cow. Anyway, I did show a bunch of streamers, a bunch of, what do you call them? Trailers at the beginning. And you can tell I get excited about a book like this. Now, what was wrong with this book? I think some parts of it were a little difficult for me to parse right away. Just certain pages, but I was reading this in a moving vehicle, and that might have been part of it. I'd like to see a little more depth on how the daughter here is doing emotionally, because she knows the whole time what this guy is going through. I say daughter while we're seeing a man sleeping with her. It's the doctor's daughter, his girlfriend. Yeah, so a little more depth on her, I think, would have been good to understand, because she's blatantly worried about him, and she does care. So yeah, who knows where it'll go next. So it wasn't just a cliffhanger. It's a cliffhanger, but a complete meal, and we know what happens a year later. Like, oh, I'm so excited. All right. So, hey, thanks everybody for being here. Let's see what else can we do. I got 2 hours down. Undersea Killer. Yeah, that looks like that's it. Mo, I'm going to wait for that one. Mo, when I started to play the wrong video, which I'll pause. Okay, when I started to play this, and you said something about like it's a good thing I wasn't playing that one. I wonder what you mean. So that almost, if I had feelings, that might hurt. I'm trying to figure. Here we go. Gonna end on this. Once Upon a Time in the Western Pacific. Yeah, I want to know, does Slade make it back to the Pacific after he lives out all the justice he can? What is his ultimate goal? That's the one thing I don't know, but he's an octopus with a sense of justice. So cool. And yeah, here you guys go. Hey, thanks everybody for being here. I appreciate it. A Tide. Once Upon a Tide. Yes, I probably said it wrong. Once Upon a Tide in the Western Pacific. Actually, it'd be the Eastern Pacific if it's on the U.S. side. Yeah. The Western Pacific is Japan. All right. Take myself out. Everybody, have a good day or night. Thanks for being here. Love y'all.